finding the stressful thought like in a specific situation. Like I noticed sometimes I would get angry at something and I know I'm angry, but I can't quite figure out exactly like the reason behind it. Like I know maybe something was said or something, but it's not like I can look into it, but I feel like that's not the cause of the stress. So I don't know how you can like dig a little bit deeper, like how to try to find what the stressful thought actually is instead of like trying to work something that you seem or perhaps looks obvious to anyone,
Hmm. Yeah.
but you know it's not the real one.
Yeah, I know that. I know that feeling. It's finding the stressful thought to question is as much meditation as going through the four questions and the turnarounds and finding your answers to those questions. So it takes time. It takes time. And stressful thoughts, I find, tend to be layered. So it seems like, oh, I'm angry at them because they're late. And then I can question that. But underneath that, it might be something different that's actually bothering me. And maybe it's not even angry, it's maybe a sadness that's actually there. And maybe, who knows? Like there's nuance and layers within a stressful situation. There's what they actually did, there's what I'm thinking they're doing, and there's also any kinds of number of fears and wants and other types of stressful thoughts lying there. So, how do you get there? How do you find what's really bothering you? You have to meditate. You have to give it time. You have to keep asking yourself, is that it? Is that it? Is that closer? Is that really what's bothering me? Is there anything more? And then give yourself time to think about it. And sometimes it's easier than other times. Um, but if you can't find it exactly, you're probably close. It's probably close enough. You can still do the work on the thought that isn't exactly why you're upset, isn't the perfect reason. You can still do the work and get a lot out of it. And then what can happen is maybe you do the work on the first layer of it, and at the end you realize, oh, it really wasn't that. It was something else. It was this. That's what I was really thinking. And so sometimes it takes going through the whole process of questioning a thought before you realize that it was another thought that was really bothering you. And so you can repeat the process and then go through that again and see if there's anything left. And maybe there's another one, right? So layer upon layer, you can go through the work. You don't have to get it perfect on the first try because it's close enough. You're in the ballpark, right? He was late. That I can just do the work on he was late and find all kinds of interesting all kinds of interesting insights from questioning that stressful thought. um, but at the end of doing that, it might turn out that there was some other stressful thought that was even more what was bothering me. So great, let me do the work on that. So you can get caught in a loop of perfectionism, trying to find the perfect one, and then I can't even start the work because I'm trying to find the perfect one. Uh, and that can be a trap. So just be aware of that. But at the same time, give yourself a little time, give yourself a little meditation to see what is bothering me. I mean, that's a question. Like how often do we really allow ourselves time to think, okay, he was late. What's really bothering me about that? Why is that bothering me? What is he doing when he's late here? What's going on? What am I believing? What am I thinking? Like that's a process. And if you sit with it and give yourself time with it, you may be surprised at the things that start to show up. So when I say meditation, what I mean is I'm asking that question and I'm letting it go into, who knows, into my insides, into my internal space, and I'm just letting it go, and I'm waiting just quietly, and I'm waiting to see what might pop up, what might show up. And whatever shows up, I'm just going to write it down. I'm just going to notice, okay, yeah. And then you'll start getting some more stressful thoughts to question. So that's the meditation of identifying the stressful thought. And it can take some time, take a few minutes, can take longer, can take a long time. But whatever you get, even if it seems superficial and not exactly perfect, you can run with it, start doing the work on it, and then see again at the end if that was it or if there's something more, and then repeat the process. For some bigger issues, I know I worked on for years, and each time it comes up, I look again. What is it that's bothering me? And look again and find new angles and new, slightly different stories that I'm believing. And over time, I may actually get to a place where I'm really dealing with what's bothering me. And keep in mind that it's sometimes not just one thought. We have this idea that I'm going to find the one thought, and then when I work that one, the whole thing's going to release, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it's many thoughts, all a collection of different thoughts, and I'm questioning one, and that lightens my load, but then I need to question another. That lightens it a little more, and I keep questioning. I might question 20, 30, who knows how many I have sitting there. And of course, it's probably infinite. You can't question all of them, but sometimes just questioning multiple thoughts, suddenly the whole thing starts to fall apart, and now it's no longer an issue for me. So these are all different ideas or strategies that you can play with as you're identifying stressful thoughts. But it is, in my opinion, as important as going through the 4 questions. And at the same time that I say that, don't get stuck on that, like, oh, this is really important, I have to do it perfectly. So if you can balance those 2 things, that's what I try to do.